Good evening and welcome to those of you who are watching Monty Python and haven't switched off yet, to those who've switched over for news at 10 and hit the wrong button, and to those who've gone away and set the video to record Twin Peaks and still haven't worked out how to use the timer. This week, Michael Heseltine takes time out to collect his thoughts and comes up with a new strategy to outwit Mrs. Thatcher. After a Green Party spokesman falls 80 feet from a balcony, he bravely insists on being present at their press conference. And in Washington, as Ronald Reagan begins a publicity tour for his new autobiography, there's a moment of panic when he gets his hand stuck in a car window. As usual, 4 panellists chosen from a short list of 4 are here, ready to show us what they're made of and hopefully take part in the quiz as well. On my right, our first team captain, the inimitable, the indomitable, the indefatigable, the inflatable Ian Hislop, and with Ian, the man they call the comedy barrister. Well, his clients do, anyway. Clive Anderson. What about you? And to my left, someone whose happy-go-lucky charm over the past few weeks has completely failed to materialise, Paul Merton. And on Paul's team this week, a broadcaster and journalist who's worked on so many newspapers, it would be quicker to mention the ones he hasn't worked for. So, the Stamford Gazette, Potholing Monthly, Forum Magazine, Pigeons Today, and the West Lothian Retail Tobacconist Journal, Russell Davies. So let's wander aimlessly into the first round. Ian and Clive, who are these people, and in what way do they deserve each other?
They're all sticking into the knife in each other at BSB.
Yes, that's Robin Day, I recognise him. He's
Selena
the frock.
Scott.
No, there's more people.
Rupert Murdoch and a Brillo pad.
Are we supposed to be answering what they've got to do with each other?
Well, at some stage during the show.
It's almost too easy, because this is the exciting merger of BSB and Sky. I think one was losing £10 million a week and the other losing £5 million a week. They've got together to lose £15 million a week.
They've also combined their audiences, so that's 3 now.
Yeah. Yes. And all those people there are paid a fortune of money by their respective companies.
Which is why they're losing £15 million a week, yes.
No, it's because the programmes are no good.
Yeah, absolutely right. 2 points. It's the annexation, or merger, as Rupert Murdoch likes to call it, of BSB by Sky Television. The axe is most likely to fall on BSB's Now channel, featuring Sir Robin Day and Selena Scott, which is apparently watched by just 0.5% of all BSB viewers, so it's presumably being watched somewhere by a severed arm. Paul and Russell, another bunch of reprobates for you.
Yes, this is the Sun campaign. They wanted everybody in Britain at 12 o'clock on Friday or something to sort of face France, stick 2 fingers up in the air and shout out, "Up yours, Delors."
Plenty of people gathered outside the gates of Wapping and did.
Yes.
And their own cameras were there to see it, and nobody else took any notice. Except Le Parisien, I think, newspaper in Paris, that replied by saying that all England's food was rubbish and all our women have got buck teeth, which I thought...
That's an official secret, isn't it?
True.
Yeah.
The only story I did hear was that on the White Cliffs of Dover, where everyone was meant to go, no one turned up, of course, so the paper had to get a whole load of the unemployed to go along. And the unemployed were meant to be complaining about how badly the economy's been run by Europe and how much better it would be by Mrs. Thatcher on her own, which is quite an interesting bit of logic, even for Sun readers.
Yes, the French newspaper said after those people had actually lined up along the cliffs of Dover, they would have been heard a lot more clearly if they'd taken 1 step nearer France. Who says the French have no sense of humour? Just about everyone, I think. Right,
You'll be joining in next, Angus.
No, please. Right, Ian and Clive, in what way has this blonde god been wreaking havoc this week?
Well, it's a bit of a giveaway. It's the blonde hair and the eyebrows.
It's Maggie.
Michael Heseltine's wife, I think. Well, he criticised his party chairman or something. He wrote a letter to his party chairman, then pushed off to the Middle East, where Saddam Hussein is collecting as many world statesmen as he can get there. If he gets 6 together, he gets to keep one of them. And, I think Michael
Heseltine.
I don't think he actually went there, but it's retired presidents and prime ministers that go there.
Yes.
Edward Heath and
Tony Benn's the latest one.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's hoping for a stalking horse candidate again. He's not the stalking horse, he's the stalking rubbish. That's my prepared joke for this week.
Very good.
And I even censored it, so...
And it didn't work anyway, so there we are. Yes, but you can have 2 points. 2 points to you. Well done. It's Michael Heseltine, yes. Polls show that Michael Heseltine is now twice as popular as Mrs Thatcher. Mrs Thatcher herself is twice as popular as Geoffrey Howe, and Geoffrey Howe is twice as popular as Douglas Hurd, which makes Douglas Hurd marginally more popular as a leader of the Conservative Party than the E.C. Lard Mountain, or Nigel Lawson as he used to be known. Paul and Russell, who's this man in a silly hat?
Wow.
Yes.
This is Terry Marsh shooting down a pole, but emphatically not shooting down anything else.
Yes, that's to be made quite clear.
The police didn't have any evidence, so they've arrested him for killing Laura Palmer.
BBC Two viewers will understand that, and everyone else will wonder what the hell he's talking about. Some of the prosecution evidence was so unreliable that one witness said that Warren's assailant looked like Rodney Marsh, who used to play football for QPR. No doubt the witness's attention was distracted by the complimentary boxing tickets delivered to him before the trial by Detective Sergeant Michael Carroll of West Ham Police Station. So, there you are. Bang go my chances of becoming a Freemason. Which brings us caustically to the end of the first round. And, Paul and Russell have 4 solid points, as do Ian and Clive, 4 solid points.
If I had a...
As usual, at this point in the proceedings, just when everything started to get going, we like to indulge in a little quiz show interruptus as we alert the panel to their feat, which they have to perform this evening. Each team is shown a photograph. Paul and Russell, this is yours. Ian and Clive, yours is this. And between now and the end of the programme, in the privacy of your own brain, we'd like you to come up with a caption or two. Let's slip into our rubber galoshes now and descend into the steamy bowels of Fleet Street for a look at the week's tabloid headlines. 1 each. Paul, yours is the banana bandit who slipped up. What's that all about?
This is the man who went into a bank and said, "Give me all your money, I've got a banana here." And they gave him all the money, and then he next door to the greengrocers and held them up with a cash load of money in his hand like that. Yes, the banana. It's a man who... A banana. He went in with a banana.
Yeah,
Something like that.
Yes.
This happens every week, there's a story about it.
There's a man who went in with a banana. It's just plain as that, really.
And then he fired it at Frank Warren, didn't he?
No, he didn't.
Sorry, no.
That was Rodney Marsh.
Also, they claim.
Shooter.
I'll give you 1 point for that. The banana bandit was Carl Lancaster, who, despite the headline, in fact, allegedly held up a Shell petrol station with a cucumber. Apparently, he pointed at the cashier and said, "If you don't give me a lot of money, I will shoot you." Whereupon the cashier gave him £60, obviously scared of cucumbers. Police later recovered his carrier bag containing his entire arsenal, a bunch of bananas, a cucumber and a sawn-off aubergine. Russell, a spiritually uplifting headline for you. Exempt the Holy Church of Nome.
I think this is a dodge. Well, perhaps not a dodge. Better not say a dodge. A ruse. A method devised by a postman, I think in Scarborough, for getting round the poll tax. He lives amid a mass of beautiful garden gnomes, and these are an object of great reverence to him. In fact, he's named himself the Grand Imperial Alligator of the Holy Church of the Lacquered Gnome, and his wife is the Grand Imperial Alligatrice, and they run this thing as a holy sepulchre. And purely accidentally, by accident, as a freak of nature, it so happens that it makes them free of poll tax.
Poll tax. Excellent answer, well done, yes. 2 full points. The extremely Reverend William Kibble, his name is, and his good lady wife Dawn, who've won the first round of their battle to avoid paying poll tax on the grounds that they're members of a religious order dedicated to the worship of garden gnomes. Evidently, it's possible to exempt yourself from poll tax if you can prove that you don't work and that you occupy yourself solely in idle contemplation and long periods of inactivity. So as a postman, he's halfway there, isn't he? Can you identify with this, Clive? I know how it feels to be a woman.
It's the chairman of BSB after he got screwed by Murdoch.
Yes, that's Ian off on one of his 9 favourite subjects, the other 8 being Robert Maxwell.
I'd like to adopt that
answer.
It's got a cheap and easy laugh.
Pete Townsend.
It is Pete Townsend.
Yes, he's been interviewed in some book where he said he's had some various assassinations. Assignations?
It's a word you don't often hear young people use.
Well, yeah.
Terry Marsh doesn't use it at all.
I did metal work, so I don't really know. Yes, he's had some sort of secret gay life, and he somehow feels that this makes him close to being a woman.
I'll give you 2 points for that. It's Pete Townsend, guitarist with the popular beat combo, The Who, who declared that he is no longer a man. He said, "I know how it feels to be a woman because I am a woman." That's come as a bit of a shock.
I'm glad he's given up drugs.
Yes,
Well, if you give me the full headline, of course I'd have got that. But,
yes, well, that would have been too easy. So.
Yeah.
Yes, the PA, his PA added that there's a little man in all of us. Talking of whom, Ian, an award-winning play on words for you. Oil looks well for Prince Philip.
No, this is the royal family who've struck oil. It's called the Civil List.
They're striking gold.
Oh, striking gold.
They do work very hard.
They do, particularly Fergie.
And the police do a wonderful job.
They do.
No, I'm just interested in my knighthood. I'm determined to get there before you, Angus.
If I could just
I'm
deviate you back to
you
the
got to the
question.
Woolwich advert before.
Anybody?
I think that's awfully unfair to bring up the Woolwich advert now.
Yes, I don't remember that advert.
It's obviously they've struck oil on royal lands, and this is going to be help the royal family to live in the style to which they're already accustomed.
Quite. Yes, well, you're absolutely right. I'll give you 1 point. Can anyone tell us where it actually is?
Windsor.
It's Windsor Castle, yes, 1 point each then. It's the discovery that the Queen's residence at Windsor Castle could be sitting on a massive oil well worth billions of dollars. So that should pay for a few more of Fergie's holidays. One explanation is that an enormous residue of oil has built up from years of royal documentaries by Alistair Burnett. In response, Saddam Hussein has pointed out that Berkshire is historically part of Iraq. And that brings us staggering to the end of round 2, and I can tell you that Paul and Russell are out front with 10, and Ian and Clive are a little behind with 6. Time now for our so-called connections round, in which each team is forced to sit through a tasteless montage of seemingly unrelated clips, wherein lurks a major news story of the week. Ian and Clive, dismember this.
Oh, that's Saddam Hussein. He's got the moustache of the mad dictator. That's
John Lennon.
Paul McCartney went by there. And
Oh, I
John Lennon,
recognise that.
That's your child, and that's... Oh,
Sir Peter Hall.
yeah, this is clearly an RSC story. Oh, this is definitely RSC moving out of Barbican and running off to... I know what that is, because there's a clue there, and there's a sort of odd-looking Conservative MP. He's the one who... is he called Stokes or something like that? John Stokes, and he told people to stop blubbing about their loved ones being murdered by Saddam Hussein and just get on with it and have a stiff upper lip, like we all did in the war.
And what he did, which was fairly amazing for a Conservative MP, was quote Shakespeare.
Yes, well...
I thought it was softly.
What he forgot was at the end of the speech there's a bit about the 7th age of man, which is when you become a doddering, senile old Tory backbencher.
Yes, it is Sir John Stokes, MP for the 17th century, as he's known in the Commons, apparently, who's been complaining about the mewling and puking, to quote him in Shakespeare, of Gulf hostages' families. He paid tribute instead to the dignified silence of Second World War wives, and confusing John McCarthy with a certain famous pop singer, called on those with relatives in the Gulf to behave like the wife of Paul McCartney, playing the keyboards very badly and ruining your husband's records. Paul and Russell, unravel this.
John Stokes?
Yeah.
High Court judges?
No.
That's
That's a young front bencher. Oh, another one. Oh, they're all eating.
John McEnroe.
I don't know.
Oh, that's the
your
whole
line?
thing, yes. That's the Home Secretary.
Yes.
Another Disney character. Several more. It's a nose question.
Sir Alistair Burnett, look at him.
Yes, there was a survey where people were stopped in the street and asked if they could name any members of the cabinet, and they couldn't, and then they were asked if they could name any of the 7 dwarfs, which they could, which proves that the 7 dwarfs are more popular than members of the cabinet.
One person said sleepy and got a vote on Sir Geoffrey Howe as well. But then he resigned, so...
Yes.
Then there was Creepy, which was Cecil Parkinson. Joe P.
Any of them.
Grotesquely sycophantic, that was another one.
99
Grumpy,
out of
that's
200.
Margaret Thatcher herself.
99 out of 200 got the whole 7 dwarfs. Right, I thought that was pretty good.
Colin Moynihan.
Mixitch, I'm going to give up.
All of those people, yes. Well, very good. And that brings us to the end of that round. So Paul and Russell now have 12 points, and Ian and Clive still have 8. Time now to sift sadly through the debris of yesteryear in our archive round. One piece of film per team. Ian and Clive. Who's this singing Santa Claus?
On the 12th day of Christmas, my taxman sent to me 12 bills for payment, 11 last reminders, 10 checks for signing, 10 forms for filling, 8 large policemen, 7 VAT men, 6 burly bailiffs, 5 high court writs, 4 tax returns, 3 more bills, 2 summonses, and a rebate of 21p. Thank you very much.
That's so easy. That is just so easy. That's Father Christmas.
Very good.
He's got his costume and everything. But you know who it really is, don't you, Ian? I can tell.
Well,
Tell us who's underneath.
I think I've seen photographs of this in the past. I think that is, amazingly, Sir Geoffrey Howe.
Let's see if you're right.
5 high court writs, 4 tax returns, 3 more bills, and a rebate of 21p. Thank you very much.
And that's why he had to resign, apparently.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't give up your day job, because he already has, hasn't it? Santa Howe, though, yes, showing he does appreciate a joke, he just doesn't realise when he looks like one. Right, Paul and Russell, why is this man being serenaded so beautifully?
Mr. Michael, Mr. Michael, Mr. Michael has surprised. If you save it and recycle, then you'll be a Valentine.
This is National Sing to a Git Day.
No. Although I'll give you a point for entertaining us, but what's the actual answer? Any idea?
Was it plant a tree in, judging by his hairstyle, 63?
Yes, that sort of idea.
Was he looking
It could
after
be
the
83
environment?
or 91.
Safe paper, I thought I saw a safe paper sign or something.
Yes.
Recycling, isn't it?
Well, I think I'll let Michael himself tell us the answer.
Well, when I came here, as a matter of fact, we were using 40 million copies of photocopying paper in the department in a year. We've now saved about 25% of that. And the fascinating thing is that the Friends of the Earth have calculated, although I must confess I didn't do it myself, that we've actually saved 850 trees because of the photocopying paper we're no longer using.
Oh, well done.
Bravo indeed. Yes, Michael Heseltine boasting about the amount of paper he saved and proving there that he cares for the simple things in life. Trees, fields, woods, which is presumably why he owns so many of them. So at the end
You'll
of
be able to
that
get a
round...
few from your Woolwich ads, I should think.
Bless you for mentioning it again. So
I
at the
do
end
wish
of
you'd stop bringing up the Woolwich, Clive.
They're a very sound company.
I'm with you there.
There's some awfully bad adverts, but they're quite a good company.
So at the end of that round, let me tell you that the score, well, Paul and Russell still preside with 13, and Ian and Clive languish in second place with 10. So we chug merrily onto our odd one out round. 4 familiar faces each, one of them doesn't fit. Who and why is what we want to know. Paul, 4 political pals for you. Norman Willis, Norman Tebbit, Norman Helsham, oh no, Lord Helsham, and Kenneth Baker.
They've all had male contraceptives named after them. There's the Helsham Double Strength, the Tebbit Luminous,
The Willis
Baker
Jumbo.
lubricated, I would guess.
And Big Willies.
That's enough smut.
That was the gag you're aiming at, I just don't know.
The answer is Norman Tebbit. All the others are keen amateur poets. That's the answer. Norman Willis wrote a poem called Thoughts Upon a Comradely Address, which I think he read out on your programme.
Yes, he
didn't
did, yes, he did.
And you didn't get the answer, Clive, still. It's extraordinary.
It was a very, very interesting poem, all the way through. No, he's a very
It was
good
the
poet.
highlight of Channel 4's autumn season, in my opinion. There we are.
What, my show, or just that bit of it?
No.
Channel 4 does do some very good programmes. Interspersed with Building Society advertisements.
And thank God they do. Yes, Kenneth Baker is too embarrassed about his work to let anyone else read it, while Lord Helsham demonstrated an interesting line in love poetry when he wrote, "Sing a song of particles, infinitely small, tissue culture specimens from off your stomach wall." And I could continue, but in case any viewers are eating while they're watching this, I'll leave it there. Russell, here's 4 for you to savour. David Shepherd, Bishop of Liverpool, Princess Anne, Anthony Blunt, and the Boy Archer.
The Boy Archer again. You're quite fond of him, aren't you? Yes.
Yes, we like Archer.
Well,
I found a very interesting man to talk to.
the Bishop of Liverpool, before he was the Bishop of Liverpool, was an England cricketer of the kind that we could do with now, namely a batsman. Thereby hangs the answer, I suspect, because Princess Anne used to fall off horses in the great national cause.
She did.
Falling into the water, and welly thrown as well, evidently.
Before she did that motor racing.
Geoffrey Archer.
Down the M4.
Geoffrey Archer, I think, I mean, it probably happened in Oxford, where his more fabled exploits all did happen, or not, as the case may be, once ran round a field for England and fell back exhausted.
Yes.
So I
ran
would
against
think
Sweden.
that 3 of them represented their country at sport, and Blunt represented Russia at spying.
Yep, very good indeed. Yes, 2 4 points. Blunt sent scores of British agents to almost certain death, and as a result was viciously knighted. Clive, a fab foursome for you. John Lennon,
John Lennon, yes.
Paul McCartney,
McCartney, Ringo Starr.
and Degsy.
Well, you made this too... Obviously, I can't get the obvious
If
one.
you could avoid the obvious one,
The
yes.
obvious one, one of them isn't a musician, but that would be Ringo Starr. Derek
Gosh.
Hatton hasn't been charged with anything, has he? Or was he arrested?
Certainly not with fraud. That would be appalling.
He was...
Were he to be.
He helped the police for a couple of minutes.
With their inquiries.
No,
course
he's
he
going to be
did.
their new PR man, apparently. Ringo Starr, I don't think he's ever been charged with anything, has he?
Not so far as we're aware.
No. So does that mean he's the one who's the odd man out?
He is the odd one out. I'll give you 1 point.
He's
Clive,
not
for
from
that.
Liverpool.
All the others went to the same grammar school, the Liverpool Institute. Ringo, of course, went to drumming school, but that doesn't count. But then neither could he, by the sounds of it. Right, finally, Ian. Enoch Powell, Neil Kinnock,
Yes.
David Owen, and Winston Churchill.
Well, all 4 of them have been tipped as future Prime Ministers, apart from Neil Kinnock. Is that not?
It's,
No.
it's an excellent
I know what
comment,
this
but
is.
it's not.
I know
They've
what
all
this is.
changed
Changed parties. They've all
party.
changed parties, apart from Neil Kinnock, who wishes he could.
Yes, yes. Churchill changed from Liberal to Conservative, Enoch Powell from Conservative to Ulster Unionist, while David Owen changed from Labour Party to SDP. To SDP Liberal Alliance Party, to Independent SDP, to Isolated Megalomaniac with no party. Which fascinating information brings us to the end of another round, and Paul and Russell are still the 4 dogs with 15, and Ian and Clive are still the stalking horses with 13. And so we leapfrog joyfully into our final deciding round, in which we show each team a set of headlines with 1 or 2 words missing. They have to identify those words or provide their own alternative. As ever on this programme, in the interests of inequality, the team who stand to lose most go first. So Ian and Clive, stand by.
Right, yes.
Voters want Thatcher to what?
Explode.
Not explode.
I said that without moving my brain.
To go.
Quit is the answer. I'll
quit,
give you one for that.
newspaper word.
Next, attention drifts as Kinnock speaks to his what?
Elbow. Something like that, anyway.
Heart's content.
He does that every day.
Speak to his friends.
I'll give you one for friends, because almost it's plant, in fact, is the answer.
What do you mean friends is almost plant?
No, honestly, Paul, plants are our friends. They turn carbon dioxide into oxygen and they keep us alive.
Have you ever met Prince Charles? You very well. Right, next,
I've
let
thought of
them
investing
eat.
in the Woolwich.
Let them eat what? So did I. Next, let them eat what for school dinner?
Kenneth Clark.
No,
Food.
deer is the right answer. Yes, I'll give you a point for that, Paul. And finally, wife of Saddam snaps up £350 million what?
Country.
Jules.
Jules is correct. Well
Jules,
done.
yes.
Paul and Russell, your turn. Flying doctor prescribes a 2-week what for Fergie?
Orgy?
Skiing holiday.
No, she's already had 9 of those.
It's not a holiday then.
I'll give you one
Fortnight.
for holiday. Jaunt is the right answer. Next, Cliff is still a big what at 50?
Oh, really?
Disappointment.
Nelly.
Not Nelly, no.
Hit.
Hit
Lemming.
is correct, very good. Next, Sooty's secret hold on whom?
The exchange rate.
Larry H. Corbett's private parts.
Corbett.
Clive, I'll give you jumped in first there. Corbett is correct. And lastly, local party puts a what up Heseltine?
Sooty.
Rocket.
Rocket is the right
Exocet
answer.
missile,
Well done.
surely.
And after that shattering finale, the end result is that this week's paupers are Ian and Clive with 19, and this week's crowned princes are Paul and Russell with 21.
All right.
So, flowers and champagne for our winners, utter derision for our losers. But that's not quite it. Several years ago, at the start of the programme, you may remember, we asked the panellists to come up with some wacky captions to their photographs. Paul and Russell, what did you think of for this one?
I've got a good one. Princess Anne chucks boot.
How did you manage to come up with that one?
Princess Anne launches new BSB Sky satellite dish.
Very good. Ian and Clive, what about yours?
It's make me Prime Minister or the kid gets it. And he's reading it out there, but it's slightly longer in his version. I tell you, making me Prime Minister, the first man in the... Yes.
Yes, and on that delightful note, we say thank you to you, our guests, Ian Hislop and Clive Anderson, Paul Merton and Russell Davies. And I leave you with the first photograph of Mrs. Thatcher's new reshuffled cabinet. And finally, following the International Weightlifting Championships in Peking, fears are expressed that athletes may be resorting to steroids to improve their performance. Good night.
'60s gangster Charlie Richardson, one of the real-life criminals who apparently got away with murder, is featured in tomorrow night's episode of The Underworld here on People at midnight. Have I Got 1990 Night continues in a moment.